Joining us now on the line is retired Navy Captain Captain Chuck Nash, a man who's a Fox News military analyst and an all-around good guy. Captain, thank you for joining us today.
Brian, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Unfortunately, under these circumstances, but nice to be back with you.
Well, let me start out by the latest story from Associated Press. And if you haven't heard this, let me just share it with you. Okay. U.S. law enforcement officials telling the Associated Press that the Navy contractor identified as the gunman in the mass shootings had been suffering a host of serious mental issues, including paranoia, a sleep disorder. He had also been hearing voices in his head, officials said. Then there is this line. He said he's been treated since August by the Veterans Administration for his mental problems. This official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because the criminal investigation was continuing, says the Navy had not declared him mentally unfit, which would have rescinded a security clearance that Alexis had. If I'm a member of the family who just lost a loved one, that infuriates me.
Yeah, and it points to the fact that even this far after 9/11, when one of the biggest problems we had was interagency communication, this is intra-agency. If the VA is treating someone for a disease that would, or anything that would put them in a position where they're unable to hold a security clearance, were they to hold that investigation right now, this is new developing evidence. They should have pushed that forward. It should have been flagged and something done about it. You're right. It's infuriating. I haven't heard that. That is breaking news to me, and it is infuriating.
Captain Chuck Nash is our guest. And Captain Nash, let's go back to that moment that we had yesterday when we found out the horrible scene there at the Navy Yard. What must it have been like for the entire Navy family across the globe when they heard this story?
Well, it's a breakdown in the normal order, good order and discipline for sure, but it sends a kind of a cold chill through you because you're among teammates.
Yeah.
And to have something like that happen in your workplace where you're among teammates is obviously it's a very scary thought.
Well, and
because once a gunman or anyone with a bomb or anything penetrates that outer ring of security, the inner ring is totally defenseless.
Well, thank you, Captain Nash, because that's exactly where I wanted to go. To that end, we've taken calls all morning long getting people's reflections on this, and the one continuing theme that we keep getting has to do with that once you're past that outer perimeter of security, there really is sort of a free flow of personnel within a base, and also the fact that members of our military can't carry firearms to defend themselves on base. What's your opinion of that?
That would be a very difficult administrative challenge, but I think we need to start thinking past the way business has always been done and start thinking about the way business will be done in the future. Because we have now this outbreak not only of the lone wolf scenario in an al-Qaeda or a terrorist situation, but we've got a situation where we have to admit to ourselves that we can no longer, because of our bureaucracy, because of our procedures, because of HIPAA, because of all of these, some political correctness, that it's almost too difficult to protect ourselves using the old methods because they're failing.
Talk to me about Building 197 at the Navy Yard, which is home to the Naval Sea Systems Command. What is the Naval Sea Systems Command? What do they do? How sensitive is that operation?
The Naval Sea Systems Command is one of several systems commands within the Navy dedicated to designing, engineering, procuring, and allowing the management of contracts to buy the things that the Navy needs and sees as requirements. So the Chief of Naval Operations Staff, the OPNAV staff, sets the requirements, and then the acquisition community, represented by NAV Air down at Pax River, NAV Sea at the Navy Yard, or SPA War, then goes out and contracts for, buys, and oversees those contracts to deliver that to the fleet.
And what is sensitive about that?
All of there are two things that are sensitive. One is the military requirements and some of the engineering and design features of the weapon systems and the ships and the submarines for NAVSEA, but also it's procurement sensitive in that from a competitive standpoint, you're getting each of the competitors to divulge exactly how they would meet the requirement, their cost data, and everything else. So from an industrial espionage standpoint, it's also sensitive.
All right.
Great. And Captain Nash, just as moving forward as the continuing conversation occurs with regard to security on bases, and I know that you're going to be brought in, you're a Fox News analyst, you're going to be brought in about a lot of these questions. What can or should be done right now to keep our military safe, and also all of the civilians who work on these bases? I mean, if you could wave a magic wand, Captain Nash, what would you do?
It's going to require a change in mindset, because right now, when you go through bases, through base security, your car isn't searched. It's done randomly. When you go into buildings, visitors are searched, but insiders with security passes are not searched. And the reason is because we have concentrated our people. We moved NAVSEA out of Crystal City and a bunch of other satellite facilities and concentrated them all in a building that holds 3,000 people, Building 197 in the Navy Yard. Well, how do you maintain, without a cast of thousands, how do you maintain traffic flow getting in and out of that building without making it a 4-hour evolution? So you have to get people moving through quickly, which means you have to make certain assumptions, and that is that if you are clear to be in that building, that you work in that building, and you have access to that building, you come in with your backpack and stuff, you're in. And a visitor gets searched and sent through a metal detector and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, but if you got the badge, you're just waved on.
You got the badge, you swipe yourself through, and you walk through the turnstile.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I suspect there will be some changes there. All right, Captain Chuck Nash, great stuff. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.